of our cities in the vicinity, members of the Premier's Economic and Investment Advisory Council, senior management of the North West University, Kgosi tsa rona tse di leng teng fa ka boeteledipele ba ga Kgosi Maotwe, the chairperson of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders and the Khoi people, members of the press, staff of both government and the university. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Working for the university has got advantages, one of which, in some instances, you do not need a program director. The program flows on its own. And I can assure you, Premier, there's so much time to save from those jokes made by program directors. It has really surprised me, how the academic processions just take off and finish without an MC and right on the planned time. And I think to myself, we need to adopt this kind of just agreeing on the program and following it and save money from paying for Queen Bee to come and facilitate the program. But of course, we need sometimes, the wit and the humor of a program director. But today we won't have one. We are quite clear on the purpose of the meeting, and therefore I just want to welcome everyone once again to the North West University, watching from campus. I was in our earlier briefing telling the Premier that we feel quite privileged as a university that in the past 4 weeks, or even more, we have had almost a weekly interaction in one event or another with the Premier and some of his MECs. This is testimony to the fact that government must come to the people, government must come to the university, we are the people. But equally, the university must go to the people, which is what we strive to do. Just 2 weeks ago, Premier, we sent off, at the invitation of the provincial speaker, we sent off Commissioner Lerato Mataboge, Her Excellency, who has assumed the position of the Commissioner for Infrastructure, Energy and ICT at the African Union Commission in Addis Ababa. I was invited to the occasion, and it was quite a pleasure to see our provincial leadership taking pride in bidding farewell to one of our own, to say, go out there, represent us, but remember where you come from. Now, issues of infrastructure, energy, and ICT have taken center stage in the development of a people. It is only through a miracle that you can attend an event and not hear people mentioning artificial intelligence. It is a miracle that you would attend an event and not hear people talking about just energy transition. Needless to mention, of course, that it would be odd to attend an occasion and not hear people complaining about infrastructure development. So she has been appointed to a very strategic position and portfolio. And today, as we will witness the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the North West Provincial Government and the North West University, we will then realize even better that Her Excellency Commissioner Mataboge is indeed occupying a very important position, because those elements of her portfolio form part, perhaps I should say, a stronger part of this document we're about to sign today. Before we proceed to that, Honorable Premier, I want to reiterate my gratitude on the support of the provincial government in making the university's dreams, strategic dreams, come true. In August of 2022, when I delivered my inaugural address, one of the things that I set out to do and deliver is to have the Northwest University Medical School operating, established and operating. Now, I was quite deliberate in saying that because I didn't want to claim that it will be my invention. It is something that has been in the offing for quite a number of years. But it gave me immense pleasure to mention it because I was part of the inception of this from the beginning when I was the chairman of council of the university. Now, I am very happy and grateful that Premier were able to tell the world last week Tuesday that this is no longer a dream but a reality, has become a reality in the form of it being named, christened, the Desmond Tutu School of Medicine, adding now to 10 medical schools, making it the 11th, Prof. Petra. That is testimony to how you bring to fruition projects that are driven with common purpose from both parties. Now, at that same evening, filled with glitz and glamour of my inauguration, I mentioned, Honorable Premier, that one of my key objectives will be to bring together a close working relationship between the provincial government, the municipalities, and the university in our province. For a simple reason that whilst we are a global university and are recognized as such, we have a singular duty to start charity at home and ensuring that we fulfill our role as the university for the Northwest. And I think we have carried that out in many different ways, but the time has come for tangible delivery. Therefore, in the pipeline, Premier, lies delivery of the School of Mines and Mining Engineering, which will be located in the campus of the North West University in Rustenburg. We have intentionally chosen to put it in Rustenburg because we believe the North West University must have a footprint, a strong and indelible footprint across the province. And needless to mention that Rustenburg remains the epicenter of our mining activities. And so we also would like to thank the provincial government with the role they have played thus far in delivering that complex in Rustenburg. We have, through the efforts of the former MEC Malloy, managed to get land donated by the Rustenburg local municipality for this purpose. And our team of professional consultants have started work in scoping the different sites for the location of the campus, and indeed have converged to a particular site. Premier, that is going to require 1.9 billion to deliver. We have started to talk to the mining houses. We convened what we called the Northwest University Mining Indaba in March 2024 in Sandton, which was attended by a number of the captains of industry who have unequivocally expressed their full support for the establishment of that school. You would know, MEC Sambata, that the Minister of Energy, who is currently the acting president, Honorable Mantashe, has unequivocally also lent his support to the launching of this School of Mines and Mining Engineering in Rustenburg. At the glittery occasion in Poke, in Sun City 2 weeks ago, Honorable Premier, I had the occasion to discuss with Khoseleruo Molotlegi. And he was quite impressed with our bold step of launching this mining campus in Rustenburg, and has subsequently requested that the university makes time to come and see him and make a full presentation. Of course, I reiterated that the price tag is 1.9 billion for very good reasons. So as we converge today to sign this MoU, we would like to urge every one of you here, in your sphere of influence, in your networks, in your capacity, your different capacities, members of the Economic and Advisory Committee of the Premier have a bigger role to play here in ensuring that the efforts of the Executive Mayor of Rustenburg, local municipality, are not in vain in donating that land. We soon must have the land developed, the site developed, and get the school construction underway. And therefore, your advocacy, your fundraising is welcome. The next project, Premier, that demonstrates our commitment to working closer together with government is the launching of the School of Veterinary Sciences in our Mahikeng campus of the Northwest University. We have seen and read the statistics regarding the shortage of veterinary specialists in our country. I need not repeat the figures. They are appalling, to say the least. And the few of those vets that we have in this country are not South African citizens. The geopolitical wars that we're witnessing today are a good wake-up call to build our own self-sufficiency. We cannot rely on borrowed skills forever, much as we cannot rely on donations and borrowed funds forever. We need to build our own capacity as a country. We just recently took a trip to the North Carolina State University, Premier. And my colleagues here accompanied us. And that university showcased to us a state-of-the-art veterinary hospital. Now, Premier, I didn't know that animals would also have gynecologists, oncologists, orthopedics for animals, right? That's what I learned there. And it was just mind-blowing. And I thought to myself, this is what we need to have for the North West University in Mahikeng campus. I spoke to Minister Sambata and her team. Yeah, promote them, MEC Sambata. And his team and said, North Carolina as a state, which is like North West Province in our context, is very reliant on its agriculture. And as a result, the North Carolina State University has got 101 presence in 101 districts across the province, across the state. 101. In other words, every state has got an agricultural extension office. And during the times of Chief Mangope, every second or third village, Premier, used to have an extension office called Agricor Center those days. And therefore, that reminded me that we need to go back to basics. And so I said to the MEC, when we were able to deliver the medical school, we took a team of high-ranking officials from the Department of Health, and they joined senior academics and myself to a number of visits overseas to have clear study of how we can take the province to the next level with our medical school, because it would be useless to launch more of the same. We need to have a different medical school with a different offering. I believe that with our recently launched Agri-Hub in Molilwane Farm in Mahikeng, we need, as a next step, MEC, to embark on that trip. You must make a budget available for that. I have already spoken to the university in North Carolina. Don't worry about Mr. Trump, he's coming along. And we must go and talk to those people. They are very keen on working with us. And it is time we adopt, the twinning model with very impactful partners. And I believe, and I'm not dictating for the provincial government, I believe that these are the people to look up to. So with that, MEC, Honorable Premier and Honorable MECs, I think we are on the right path with the contents of the MOU. Today we put ink on paper to confirm that it is indeed happening. But it will only be a reality if Mokgosi Maotwe sits down with Dr. Neo Morey, our Executive Dean of Faculty of Law, and say, I need a custom-made short course for Mokgosi Aruna in customary law. And this must be delivered at a venue in Mahikeng. It is only going to be practicable and become a reality, MEC Molapisi, when you sit down with Dr. Joseph Sekhampu, Professor Joseph Sekhampu, our executive head of the business school, to say, I want a custom-made diploma course for all my councillors across the province. There is a popular course called Finance for Non-Financial Managers. I think we must all take that course, and we are offering it at our business school, so that when it's time to read the financial statements of the council, MEC Kaba, Executive Mayor Kaba, people don't read it upside down. They read it straight, proper way. Therefore, at that point, only at that point will we say this, what we will sign today, has delivered meaningful impact. So with that, even when people had decided to go on leave, on long leave, because of the number of long weekends, you have committed to making sure that we are here today.
No, thank you very much, Program Director. I see that you don't want to be called a Program Director. Chair of the House of our traditional leadership, Mokgosi Maotwe. Members of the Executive Council present here today, MEC Sambata, MEC Molapisi, the Executive Mayor of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District Municipality, Meni Kiwenu, the Executive Mayor of JB Max Local Municipality, Babakaka, the Executive Mayor of the City of Matlosana, Tate Mahlope, and members of all of you, your mayoral committees and councillors, if are present here today, Vice Chancellor and Principal of the university, members of the Economic and Investment Advisory Council present here today, executive and senior managers of the provincial government and the university. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are still in the morning. Good morning. Good morning. You know, we have been interacting with the university for a number of days now, and I've made a commitment that probably at the end of my term as a member of the legislature, I should also have a qualification coming from the university. Yes. So I'll make time to have that qualification. So it will be a portfolio of evidence of a demonstration of a commitment as a result of what we are going to do today. No, the signing of this memorandum is held a few days after we celebrated 31 years of our freedom. And as we take stock of the achievements of the past 3 decades, we must do so cognizant of the role played by the academia in the struggle for liberation. Through their meticulous intellectual thought, they provided critical knowledge, organizing support and challenging oppressive ideologies and positioning universities as hubs for thought, leadership, and social change. They fostered a space for intellectual debate, analyzed the causes of oppression, and trained future leaders and activists. Zachariah Kiudirelang, normally called Z.K. Matthews, A.C. Jordan, Eskia Mphahlele, John Tengo Jabavu, Walter Rabusan, and many others, played a crucial role in shaping the anti-apartheid discourse, creating a path for future academics to be pioneers of change, patriotic and selfless. It is these sacrifices by the academia which must galvanize all of us and inject a new sense of purposiveness in responding to challenges affecting our people. More than 30 years later, we are confronted with a new wave of challenges, and the role of the academia in this regard cannot be overemphasized. Reflecting on the future of an African university, former President Thabo Mbeki made a challenge to the academia to undertake advocacy work centered on finding solutions to challenges confronting our communities. This, he argues, will go a long way in creating a knowledge base that will contribute immensely in achieving the objectives of our developmental agenda, which are centered on reversing the imbalances of the past by achieving an inclusive growth and sustainable socio-economic development. Therefore, universities are strategically positioned to play a pioneering role in addressing problems of poverty, social disorganization, low production, unemployment, hunger, illiteracy, and diseases. Critically, this university has a central and key role to play on how we envisioned the socio-economic prospects of our province. Without the high level of scientific, technical, and broad intellectual expertise that this university has to offer, we will not be able to achieve the objectives and goals set out in what is called our medium-term development plan, particularly in creating sustainable communities. Therefore, it cannot be business as usual, as a new set of ideas is needed to redefine our developmental trajectory to meet the socio-economic needs of our people, given the challenges of today. Visiting this campus on February 1996 as part of our country's national and democratic project following the new dispensation, President Nelson Mandela maintained, and I quote, "South African universities are public national assets which must be utilized to serve the broad South African population," and unquote. Therefore, the signing of this memorandum of understanding is premised on a similar understanding as said by President or former President Mandela. Professor Tyobeka, our province, like many parts of the continent and beloved countries, confronted with unmanageable challenges, poverty and unemployment, are at a very high level, despite the efforts by the government to nip them in the bud. Our bad weather conditions due to the climate change continues to have a detrimental impact on our infrastructure and agricultural produce. The price of our mineral resources continues to fluctuate due to the shocks suffered as a result of ongoing global armed conflicts and trade wars impacting on social spending by mining companies, on social labor plans, and corporate social investment initiatives. Given the enormity of this challenge, research and innovation is critical, particularly in the formulation of policies centered on diversification to circumvent the aforementioned challenges. I'm therefore confident that collaboration in areas such as agricultural development water and sanitation, health, artificial intelligence, and sports have the potential to unlock our full potential in the growth and development of our province. The signing of this MoU is significant because it formalizes a partnership establishing clear expectation and responsibilities for collaboration in areas of mutual interest. Critically, to promote joint research and development that can facilitate joint research projects, allowing the university and the state to leverage on each other's expertise and resources for innovation and development. In living up to this commitment, we are pronouncing today, we have successfully launched the AgriHub and the Desmond Tutu Medical School. Initiatives of a similar kind will take shape when we officially launch the School of the Mining Engineering in a few years to come, as well as other collaborative projects to foster growth and development and to address the scourge of unemployment and poverty impacting on our communities. Now, as a Ghanaian author and activist known as Kwe Ayama once said in his maiden novel titled, "The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born," and I quote him, he said, "Alone, I'm nothing, I have nothing. We have power, but we will never know it. We will never see it work unless we come together to make it work," unquote. Thank you very much.
And now, as I said, I'm not a program director. The moment has come.
Yeah, 29. Yeah.
29.
We're signing three copies just for
ga